Welcome to episode 61 of the Scent and Bent podcast. It is the first of the year. Just had New Year's last night. So I thought we could talk about some goals for this year for the channel and what have you. And Chris said he's got some questions for us, and it sounded pretty pressing. So we'll see what Chris has for us as well.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year, Chris.
Yeah. I've also got a question for Chris too. It's a very, very brief question.
Okay.
We posted the tour of your shop on Bonus Bolts yesterday.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's in about a day, it's got close to 120,000 views. Did you ever think that 120,000 people would watch a tour of your shop?
No, never.
Well, here we are.
I think they were curious to see kind of where you kind of grew up and how, got your start from, I think.
Yep. All because you used to let some weird neighbor kid hang out in the shop 26 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, got to help the weird ones somehow.
That's true. That's true.
We need help. We learn differently.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually helping a kid like that from the school that my mom works at. Somebody that's really smart but doesn't really fit in well with school. And so I'm teaching him to weld. So, passing it on to the next generation.
Yeah, one of the top comments on that video was, it was something like, one of the best things I heard about education was don't confuse like highly educated with intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a difference.
That's a good way to put it. I've talked about that concept many times, but that's a very succinct statement. Yeah. Don't confuse highly educated with highly intelligent, because they are not the same.
You guys, the commenters, you really like word things in a way where I'm like, yep, that's what I've been trying to say.
Yeah, for real.
It's like a good exercise needing to condense your thought into like a short little sentence that you think other people will actually read.
Right.
That's, who said that? Some famous physicist or something. Like, you don't truly understand something until you can explain it to a 12-year-old in like a couple sentences or something like that.
I don't know the exact quote, but I've heard that concept before. Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense, because if you can't, then you don't really understand what you're talking about.
Yep, for sure.
There's two kinds of highly educated too. There's highly educated book smart, and there's highly educated street smart.
True. But most people use the term educated specifically for book smart.
Yeah.
Because street smart, you wouldn't say, like, you could, but most people wouldn't say educated in that case. They'd just say, street smart or worldly wise or something, something that's like basically saying you're smart, but you didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Educated usually means a lot of schooling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had some, I guess, goals, resolutions, whatever you want to call them. And I haven't talked to you guys about this yet, so I don't know what you guys came up with. But I got a few that are like group decisions.
Nice.
Yeah. One of them was one of the most fun things to do, video-wise and just trip-wise, was the MTV trip, driving the MTVs home from Colorado. If you're watching, you'll see the dump truck behind us getting a giant snowplow right now.
Yep.
But I was thinking, like, so many years of grind hard, I'm like, I'm going to make a movie. And I was trying to make it something in my head, like, bigger than the MTV trip.
Well, you were trying to, you talked about like writing scripts and making it more of like a planned out story.
Yeah.
And there's various ideas I heard you talk about, but that MTV trip was a movie. It was an hour and 42 minutes, and it had a lot of plot twists and surprises and suspense and character development and
exactly. And basically, I want to make more this year and have more time on the editing side of things so I can even make it more like a movie.
Right.
And I was thinking that 4 might be a good number.
4 trips like that? Or 4, episodes?
Essentially 1 a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So we can plan, have time to find proper crafts, you know?
Yep.
I don't think it's obviously quite ambitious. That was a lot of work, but I don't think it's overly ambitious.
It's not unreasonable because that trip happened, planning to completion was like, I mean, not count, there's lots of gaps of time in between, but realistically the time actually spent on that was like a month at most. I mean, less than that really.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you add up all the days of the driving and the editing and everything else, I mean, it was well under a month for that one.
Yeah.
It took more time in between, like finding them and figuring out the details. But like, yeah, I think that's...
And resting afterwards, a bit of recovery.
Yeah, right. But I think 4 is a totally reasonable number as long as we can come up with 4 good concepts, which I think we already have like 3 at least.
Yeah, I think we probably have like 7.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, and not only come up with the concept, but actually find the vehicles that we need for it. Because like the one we're currently working towards is the Snowcat one.
Yeah.
And, we've had that idea for, I don't know, a month or 2 now.
Yeah. Is finally starting to come together.
Right, but we had to wait around for finding the right vehicles. So it's just a matter of finding all the right...
There's too many factors out of our control. Like the deal on the 2 MTVs was like, we were waiting for that for years.
Well, we didn't even know we needed 2 until it came up. Yeah. We were just going to get 1 because they're normally so expensive. And then we're like, well, I mean, if we could get 2 is better.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Because a lot of times for Grind Hard Ideas, I'm overly ambitious.
Yeah.
But Grind Hard Ideas specifically, I think 4 movies is very solid.
Yeah. Well, we already did, let's be honest, we already did 2 last year. Because
it's the second one.
The Temu Excavator Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
That was over an hour long.
Yeah.
And it was a complete story all in one.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as polished as the MTV one, but it was still arguably... It was pretty movie-like.
Yeah, that's true.
And if
I think if we would have done more days shooting...
Yes, if we'd just done one, we rushed that because of, I don't remember, some deadline or something.
Yeah, I think it was the sponsor.
Even just one more day out there would have completed it. Mm-hmm. And then it would have been... So, like, yeah, I mean, basically, the point is we already kind of did 2 last year without even planning.
Yeah,
so I think 4 is a pretty reasonable number.
4 with planning has to be possible.
Yep.
And then another one that everyone listening to this will be psyched about. I think we could easily do a podcast every week for the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast has always been something that's very easy to actually manage. We just always, it's the first thing to get pushed away when we're on a deadline.
Exactly.
So,
but it's also one of the easiest to actually go and do.
Yes,
and
for sure.
I'd like to see where we could take it and how much better we could make it and how much better we get as hosts and conversationalists.
Doing it every week.
Every week.
Yep.
Like that's when you get good at stuff.
Yep.
Is when you never stop doing it.
Well, and the combination of all of this is kind of ideal too, because we're posting more consistently on the second channel now. So it sounds like way more work, but really if we post a video pretty much every week on the second channel and we do a podcast every week, that gives us more freedom to not post a main channel video every week so that we can actually have the time to do the big trips and the big builds and all that stuff and do it right. And that's something we've talked about off and on for years, but we're actually finally kind of going that direction. Yeah. And it gives, and like at the end of the day, it's more content for everybody watching. It's just divided up between different ways of doing things. And I mean, for something that like maybe people listening to this don't really realize is like the stuff we do on the second channel it's stuff that like we can either film really easily, like Chris's shop tour that was like a couple hours in one day of filming, or it's stuff like my house where it's happening in the background and that's not 9 to 5 work time. That's like me working on the weekends and filming like an hour a couple times a week and like just little bits and pieces over months and months, and then it adds up. So the point being, it gives us that extra time because then, those are things that are already going on in the background. And then we take a week off from the main content every once in a while to prep for some good trips.
That's what I'm thinking. And another one, it's going to sound pretty ambitious, but I think it's possible, is to get a video, to do a video worthy of 10 million views on purpose. Like the only one we have is
completely by accident.
the state patrols looking over the monster chopper on the road.
Wait,
that was complete luck.
Isn't the no, I guess all of our other ones are only very close.
There's one that's close.
The snowmobile scooter, right?
And the full time lapse of the Barbie Jeep coming together.
And the snowmobile, or not the snowmobile scooter, the snowmobile trike, that one was very intentional. I mean, it was many years ago, but that one was like super on purpose. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did that whole, and we hardly even did a regular build video about that one.
We didn't. I mean,
but if I go to most popular public videos, holy, the monster chopper met state troopers is at 11 now.
That was quick. It only hit 10 like a month ago.
That's crazy.
That's wow.
But I think it's possible to engineer
a video for 10 million
is like relatable enough to people, like not so technical, but really fun and engaging, and like one of those things where you see it and you're like, wait, what? You have to watch it. I literally thought of this on the way here, so I haven't put a lot of thought into what it might be.
That was my next question: is what do you have in mind?
If I had an idea that good, I wouldn't just be talking about it on the podcast.
Right, we can't be giving it away.
So I mean, but I think it is possible, and it is something I'm going to look into, because I just think it'd be fun.
Yeah,
and it'd be
a cool goal to set out with from the get-go.
And even if you fall short and it gets 5, it's like, okay, sweet.
Whoa. What a failure,
still like
man.
One of our best of the whole year. So.
Right. So how good does the MTV video do?
That one's
really good.
That one's like 1.4 or something?
Yeah, I think 1.5. And it's also the longest video we've ever done, I think.
Yes, by quite a bit, by like 20 minutes, I think.
So it's a pretty big deal. Yeah. For us.
I'll look it up right now and see what it's at. But
yeah,
it's really good. But that one's, and I mean, that one might hit like 4 or 5 over the years, but because it's an hour and 40 minutes long, it takes a lot longer to get those views.
Well, and the thing is with videos like that, it's not necessarily the view number matters all that much, as long as it gets enough to like pay for itself, so you're not breaking the bank.
Right.
But what it means to me is it means we get to do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why it's such a big deal to me.
Yep.
Like if we work really, really hard and spend a lot of money and time and energy into a video, but it does get 10 million views in a year, let's say, like the goal is, then it's like, okay, we can do that more often. Like it gives us permission to not feel like we're going to waste all of our time and money on
something. It's like a proof of concept. It's like, okay, so if we can plan for it and succeed, then it's kind of proof that we know enough about the mysteries of YouTube to do that. And then we can be like, okay, well, if we wanted to do this really expensive thing, how do we turn that into a 10 million view video? Yeah. So that we can afford to do it. Like, for example, racing Baja or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's all self-justification to do the more far out crazy things we have ideas for, which is crazy that we have so many ideas that are more far out and crazy than things we've already done. But we really do.
Yeah. But you need those, you know, you need to have that.
Yeah.
You need to be able to dream big.
Yep. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think we all share that.
Yep.
Yeah. We're all down to dream very big.
Literally.
Yeah.
Physically. Yes.
We've already dreamed bigger than the garage, like right away.
Yep.
Let's see. What else do I have over here?
So do you think the time of the video has a lot to do with the views?
Like the length, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the length.
I do.
You do?
I think there's very, very few videos with over 10 million views that are also over an hour long. Very few.
Yeah.
Most of them that are like that 17 to 30 minute.
Yeah.
Like all the Mr. Beast, all the like big famous YouTubers, like they won't really push it much more than 30 minutes.
Because that's the average person's attention span, basically. Yeah. Well, it's more than the average, but it's like, yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. It's interesting because
almost all of the ones that are over an hour, just while we're on that real quick, music mixes. Because it's people who listen to the same mix. Like I have the same hour and a half long DJ set that I listen to every single week that I edit our thumbnails.
I would argue that doesn't even count as a video over 10 million views because it's not. It's not a video. It's music.
Yeah, it's more passive experience.
It's a mix of music that you listen to over and over again. Like music videos count as a video because like somebody put in the time and effort to make a piece of art that's visual. Yeah. And it goes with music, but still they get more views than everything else because people will rewatch and rewatch and rewatch because it's.
And if you listen to the song on YouTube Music, it counts as a play on the video as well.
So like all of those things are a different category entirely.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. What I was going to say is it's interesting that because like for having a successful channel, longer videos are better, period, as long as you can keep people interested enough to watch a meaningful percentage of that long video. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get over like 5 million views or 10 million, then you can't keep going longer because you won't get that many people to watch it that long.
So say for instance, the MTV video.
Yeah.
Would that have been better to be 2 videos?
No, I don't think so. I think that...
Or would it have been better to make it like shorter?
Well, the reason, because we could have done that into 2 or 3 parts. The reason that I really wanted to do it in 1 was because I've been wanting to make a movie, and 3 parts without each one having its own story isn't really a movie.
Right.
But also, you just constantly lose steam. Like we did that with the Humvee series. Mm-hmm. And if the Humvee series would have been one big, long, crazy extravaganza, I think it would have done a lot better overall.
Yeah, it's basically, Chris, the thing is if you can complete the whole story in 1 episode, it's always better, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's more interesting for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Like if you just figure out about our channel, then the first episode of the Humvee series is going to be where you have to start. Like if you just found out about us, you can't just click on the second one and have it
make
enough sense for it to be your, new favorite video. And YouTube is doing a better and better job at knowing if you watch something, if you actually liked it and engaged with it. And so if you can tell a whole story all in one, I think that's always the best option, but obviously substantially more work as well on the filming, the editing, the actual doing the thing. Everything is more work if you do it that way.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, all the big things are like that. And it's, even if you think about television, like they all had their own standalone skits, maybe something bigger is going on the background. Yep. Like you could tap into any episode of Friends and be like, oh, okay, so this guy and this girl are having this issue and maybe they'll resolve it by the end of that episode. And yeah, there's this big overarching story. Like ours would be, we're having all these machines and, developing the property up there and improving the garage here. And the overarching stories, we're honing in on our skills and growing as people.
Right. And getting older.
The individual episode is we did this really cool road trip. Check it out.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I think the music has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
The MTV people really like
music was awesome.
Yeah. That was a really good job on that.
Yeah. And I want to do that more and more. But as far as classic rock goes, which is mainly what that was most of what I had access to be honest.
Yeah.
Like there's some other things, like there's a lot of Green Day songs that I could technically get. But like that Eagles song, that is the only Eagles song that you could put in a YouTube video that's currently possible.
And get it monetized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which obviously we can't not do that. But yeah,
it's kind of a bummer. Like if we did that again, I'd have to use the same song, which I'm not going to get away with that very often.
Yeah.
Right.
Like maybe I'll use it 2 or 3 movies from now again, because it's one of the few really good songs I have access to. But
is the is that so the song that Chris is always singing now? The
I love
yes,
my MTV.
yeah. Is that Dire Straits song on that platform? Because I don't think you would have been looking for it.
No.
But yeah, we should find out because then you can put it in one of the episodes sometime in the future with the.
Well, and hopefully more labels decide to do this.
It seems likely. I mean, it seems
why
like they'd be
wouldn't
missing
you?
out on a huge opportunity without, if
The
they're not doing
only
that.
thing is the artist has less control over what their music is paired with, right?
Right. You could be an artist and you could make this really, really good song that you have, like, you're super passionate about the like story and meaning of it. And then somebody just puts it on this like absolute garbage video that's like hateful and whatever, that's true.
Interesting enough, a lot of the songs that we used, I was a little bit concerned because a lot of them said in the music license that you couldn't use it in content associated with like the military or war. And I'm like, it is a machine that was engineered for the military, but
it's,
I think it's more like they don't want their songs being used as like recruitment material.
Right.
Yeah. But still, like that was there's like all of the major illegal things you'd expect, but then that was one of the ones that like wouldn't be necessarily like illegal or necessarily bad that you just can't use the music on. But you couldn't say like, you couldn't be too picky.
Right.
Like, cause you'd have to have manual review, be like, oh, well, if it's low quality and it tells a story that's hateful.
If it's not art, you can't use it. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Go ahead and come up with a definition of art that's actually meaningful.
Exactly. So there's that one. And then one of the last really big things that I was thinking about, Steven and I were just talking about it the other night, is remember when we went to Matt's Off-Road Games?
Yep.
And
less than a year ago.
Yeah. And
Feels like
we
more.
had so much fun and there's so many cool people there. And we're like, we need to hang out with these people more.
Yep.
Like, we're like, we need to just do a trip on our own with Robbie Layton on our own timeline. So we're not also pairing it with some big event.
Yep.
Because really, like, our favorite part of that, like, the event was great and all, but rallying in the desert with Robbie and the monster chopper.
Yeah, a giant limo on tracks and a monster chopper on 46-inch tires in the desert. I mean,
that's the most fun we had. And we were like, we should just plan these trips on our own terms. Like, we don't have to only go to Nevada because of SEMA and then plan one day of events after the event.
Right.
We can just make that plan with our friends and go do it.
Right.
And that was over a year ago and we didn't really do that.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, Robbie has been saying he's going to plan a trip up here to help us with the Ferrari. So that's something, but
that's another problem with YouTuber friends is they're all as busy as we are.
Yes. that is the real problem. Yeah.
But if we plan things in advance, like I'm going to make that one of my goals is to make at least one thing like that happen on our own terms.
Right.
On our own schedule.
Not at a main event. Yeah.
Give extra days so we can go really hard and break stuff and have time to fix it.
Well, not that it's quite that, because it is based around an event, but we do have an invite. I mean, obviously you don't need an invite to go to King of the Hammers, but we have a very specific invite this year through Christopher Pulvardi, who, if you weren't paying attention, won the Baja 1000 this year, which is insanely cool. Anyway, he works with Optima Batteries, and they're doing a thing they're calling Military Monday, one of the days before the main event at King of the Hammers, and they want to get as many weird military vehicles there as possible. So Christopher texted me and said that he thought of us, and anyway, so we do have multiple military vehicles we could take. We could plan, if we wanted to, we could plan a trip where we go there and we do the day of the thing for that with Christopher. The main reason I really want to go is because he offered us all rides in his trophy truck, assuming he doesn't break it on the race. Because he doesn't race the like Ultra 4 part of King of the Hammers. He races the Desert Challenge, which is more Baja style, where it's all high speed. Yeah, it's not rock crawling. So he's got his all-wheel drive trophy truck that he just won the Baja with, and he's going he's going to go. He won that the last 2 years in a row, the Desert Challenge at KOH. So, and his truck was survived both times. So good odds that we'd all get to go ride in a $1.2 million trophy truck.
Could you imagine what someone would think if they came up here with zero context about what we do in YouTube and all that? Like, these guys are planning for the zombies to come tomorrow.
I'm sure that's what all the like non-usual delivery people think, because like all the usual ones have figured out what we do, but like all the now that Amazon started just having random people deliver stuff, like it's a different person every time, and they must just assume that I'm like a massive prepper.
And actually, like in this neck of the woods, half the places they go are probably like have Humvees and like bunkers, and
they're probably like, nope, another one of these. This guy just doesn't try to hide it.
Signs on the gate that say, "You steal, we shoot."
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Especially up by you, Chris. Every other driveway has a sign like that.
There's one down on the main road, like on the paved road. They have a gate, and it just says "Trespassers will be shot." And I'm like,
Plain
that's
and simple.
all right. Anyway,
what were you going to ask us, Chris?
Well, I was going to ask you one of the questions I was going to ask is what you're talking about. What you guys were planning for Grind Hard for the year, and what you guys think, what kind of builds you would like to do, and what kind of how much time you need to spend on each one. I think one of the main things, I think, and I see this as really hard for Ethan, is it's really hard to finish something.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? And I get that. You know, I understand how he feels, because it's been that way a lot for me during my life. You know, I being in construction, while you go, you just do a certain part of it and that's it. You know, that's what you get. You don't get to do the whole thing all the way through.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and I was wondering is it possible to do that and still get the video, and, maybe shorter builds, or, things that aren't as
ridiculous. Yeah. We were just talking about that earlier, just before you came in for the podcast, some of that stuff. And we've been talking about it off and on for forever, basically. But
it is a pretty consistent problem.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And something that I specifically have been thinking about since we started the Ferrari is that, like, I'm always trying to make more ridiculous builds, because that's part of the fun for me, is like challenging myself to one up something that I did before. But to be perfectly honest, a lot of it also comes from YouTube. And like from day one, our strategy has basically been build something no one else has ever done before, and it'll get views, which works. But it's harder and harder to do something no one else has ever done, partly just because of the things that we have done.
Yeah.
Like if you went down and just made a list of all the weird vehicles that I've built, like basically from scratch in the last almost 8 years, it's absolutely absurd how many things. And it's like, so anyway, the point is, to quote, or not quite quote, but to paraphrase what, when we had Brian Scotto from Hoonigan on the podcast.
I think about this all the time.
He was quoting somebody else, but he used it in the context of what we do. He's like talking about like a show or something where there's an audience and nobody can see, and everybody's standing up to try and see, but they can't see over each other's head. And the concept is like, what if we all just sat down? Then we could all see. And he was applying that to like what we do with cars in the like YouTube world. It's like, we're building things that are completely unusable just to get bigger numbers than everyone else, or to do something that no one else has ever done. Like the Ferrari is the perfect example. It's like, okay, so we got this Ferrari for cheap because it was burnt to a crisp. And we're like, what could we do with this Ferrari? We obviously want to do something like rally style and off-road, which already nobody's really done that. And we're like, well, nobody's really done a diesel Ferrari, so we could do that. But we're not just going to do a diesel. We're going to do a twin turbo V10 diesel And it's like, it gets so complicated and over the top that it takes like a year to build. And then we never finish. I mean, we usually get pretty close to finishing things, but it's really hard to find the time to finish anything because of how complicated they get. But yeah, the concept of like, what if we all just sat down? Then we could all see. Like, if everybody just built things that made a little more sense. It doesn't have to be totally sense. You know, like if it wasn't a little bit ridiculous, it'd be boring. But
No.
But yeah, and I was also just thinking about like, yeah, the how far we've come from anything, which is really cool as well, but how far we've come from building anything that's like even remotely like obtainable or sensible. Like not monetarily, but just like the amount of hours that go into it. Like, you know, 2,000 hours into a build and however many
It's not as
thousands.
relatable as
It's not as
building
relatable.
the
Yeah.
first Power Wheels in 2.5 weeks.
Right. Or like even the more ridiculous Power Wheels, it was still like, okay, I did this in a shed with very basic tools. We didn't even have a plasma cutter back then.
Mm-hmm.
And not even a
the
handheld
amount of
plasma cutter.
grinding we did.
Right. Literal grinding. Yeah. But like, it was like that one, it still took like, you know, probably close to 1,000 hours to build that thing, or probably not even quite that, more like 700 or something, at least at its initial stage. But it was still like, okay, did it in a shed with parts of ATVs and a kid's toy.
Yeah.
Versus now it's like the monster trike, like 0 parts of that are anything.
Yeah.
It's 100% built from scratch with just only components that aren't hand built is just the engine, differential, axles, like that.
Yeah.
The basic stuff. But yeah,
And a lot of times the simpler things are just so much fun. Like
Exactly.
the electric little 4-wheeler, the pink one.
right.
Like that thing is so much fun.
Or just like we were talking about earlier, doing more of the like adventure stuff, because
Yeah.
that's like
The more I think of that, the more I think the Top Gear guys were just on to something.
Yeah.
You have so much fun. Traveling is just inherently fun, and you get to see new stuff and meet new people. And camping with your boys is obviously the best.
Yep.
And so just all of those things, and they're just doing that nonstop pretty much. And in like very extreme, really cool locations too.
With very extreme budgets and unobtainable
it's
cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they also like some of their best episodes were cheap cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, like I'm never gonna not want to build ridiculous stuff. But the point is, like, I've just been realizing
balancing it with other stuff.
And that ridiculous doesn't have to mean like the most insane ever. Like it can be ridiculous, and I don't know, like the chopper is a great example. Like it is incredibly ridiculous, but only in the tires and the way that it looks and what it is. You know what I mean? It's not also like twin turbo V10 diesel. You know, it's the engine's just a normal engine from a adventure bike. Like it's not anything special. I mean, it is. Those are amazing engines, but it's like just came out of the bike, built around it, you know?
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah. I don't know. There wasn't like a specific point there. It's just like kind of realizing that
thought process.
Yeah. It just doesn't always have to be the most extreme or the fastest or the best or whatever. Like,
so I guess to answer Chris's question, we're trying to figure that out too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then one other goal that I had is not just this year, but this winter, I'm actually just going to finish enough of my songs to make an album, and then I can use them in our videos and our movies.
Nice.
And just actually finish it. And I had to wait till the new year, but I'm ordering DJ equipment again. I used to DJ like a whole lot for a really long time. And when I moved back to Idaho, I sold it all to, do you know who Flow Rider is, Chris?
No.
Wait, you sold your DJ equipment to Flow Rider?
To his DJ, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that so funny? He showed up at my door and I was like, oh, like, cause I just had it on Craigslist. And he showed up and he was like, oh yeah, I've been trying to get this one. Cause like someone poured a drink on my mixer and stuff. And he's like, and I need the CDJs as backup. And he's like, and I'm about to go on tour. And I was like, yeah, I heard about that tour. I was like, just kind of starstruck. I
Wow.
just kinda, like took his money and he like walked away and he was super stoked. And so the legacy lived on.
That's crazy. So Chris, Florida, it's spelled like Florida, but it's Flo Rida. And like the song that everyone would know is actually not one that he even wrote. It's a cover of You Spin My Head Right Round. You know, the original was, who was the original? Was it like I'm trying to think of, you don't know who the original artist of that song was?
Was it Blondie?
I don't know. But anyway, it's like a rap hip hop sort of cover of that song that was really, really, really popular like 15 years ago or something.
Dead or Alive
was the original artist? Huh. What's the actual name of the song?
Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Round.
You Spin Me Round, yeah. But like the chorus is like, you spin my head right round, right round.
Like
yeah,
the record,
I've
baby.
heard that song.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, that's the guy that he's talking about.
Yeah, but it's
super
funny
side
because
tangent, but
in Florida is like its own country in a lot of ways. And so the like Florida specific talent are like extra stardom in Florida.
oh, right. Yeah.
Like Flo Rida and Pitbull, like they're huge in Florida.
Because they're
And
from
there's
there
a,
and
there's
yeah.
a way larger Latin community there. So yeah, it's great. And the shows are super fun, but it was so funny because he didn't say who he was. He's like, hey, I'll be there at, 10 tonight. And I'm like, okay. And
then it's Flo Rida's DJ.
he just shows up there with like a G-Wagon or something. And I forget what he was driving, but one of those like fancy trucks.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, cool. he didn't hassle me for price at all. Let's put it that way.
Nice. Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't had them since. And that's when I was 22, which means I haven't had DJ equipment for over a decade.
That's a long time.
But I'm getting a portable setup where everything's powered with its own battery. And so I can just put it in a case and then I can bring it with us when we do things like the MTV trip, as long as we I don't think I'd bring it if we flew somewhere, but if we drive somewhere, I'll bring it. And then
You can DJ.
when we're camping, I'll DJ. And then obviously the songs we couldn't put on YouTube, but I'll give the mixes away to the premium members,
Nice.
the premium members club.
So that brings up my other question. When we do these adventures, like when we did the MTV adventure, it seems to me like if we had a support vehicle or that could,
As we've talked about once or twice.
That wasn't my tiny little truck.
Or mine.
they could actually house us too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yep.
That'd be cool.
They could haul your DJ equipment that could,
Yep.
that had some bunk beds in it or something,
Yeah.
Yep.
We really should get started on that sooner than later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
I see what you're saying, Chris.
yeah.
yeah.
The trick, I mean, we should definitely do that. 100% get some sort of company vehicle. But the hard part is a lot of times for these types of adventures, we don't know, a support vehicle that works perfectly for one type of trip couldn't work at all for another.
Right.
And then some of our trips, we will be flying somewhere and driving stuff home. And that's the whole point, is not having a support vehicle.
Yeah.
And then so we definitely need one, because there's enough times that we just need it. Even just like, say, picking up this snowplow, like, sure, you can use your personal truck or I can use my personal truck, but we should just have one that's the company truck.
In the very, very least, even if we fly, we need to get Chris a nice tent and an air mattress that holds air.
Yes.
I think I got one.
Really?
A tent or an air
I think
mattress?
an air mattress.
Yeah.
I think I found one that it's still holding air.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. I'm
We
just
should
going
tell the story of the second night. So the first night camping on the MTV trip, because that was crazy.
Yeah. So the first night camping was by the lake.
It was your birthday the first night.
Yep.
And then we went to the hotel.
Right.
And that was fine, normal.
Yep.
But by the lake, that was just nuts, Chris.
Well, I
think
don't know.
Chris should tell his side of the story.
That's what you were sleeping in the back of.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm
That part was
young.
nuts. Is that you knew it was going to rain, and you and Steven chose to sleep in essentially a swimming pool.
Yeah.
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 But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Chris, go ahead and tell your part of that story.
Well, I think that my side of the story and Steven's side of the story was pretty well documented in the film. But Chris's was like there's a couple shots of your deflated air mattress with duct tape over it. But like, what happened that night from your perspective?
Well, I blew up the air mattress and I got underneath my MTV. And I was...
So they'd be out of the rain.
Yeah, so I'd be out of the rain. I knew it was going to rain. And so I went to sleep and I woke up and the air mattress was gone, done. I was laying on the ground. It was wet on the ground.
It's like we were sleeping inside of a freezing cloud.
Yeah. So,
but you know, when it's that kind of weather, I was talking to somebody else about this the other day. When it's 37 degrees and wet, that to me is the coldest.
Yeah. It's
know?
colder than if it was snowing.
Yeah, than if it was below freezing because there's so much moisture in the air. It just makes it, I mean, you'll understand as you get older, your bones really feel it when it's that temperature and that much humidity in the air, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was all stiff, you know, and so I get up off the ground and I'm just going to go sit in the truck. And so I went and got in the truck and closed the door and went to sleep. Sitting up in the truck.
in the driver's seat, no less. There was a passenger seat that didn't have a steering wheel in the middle of it, but no, you chose the driver's seat.
Yeah. I didn't want anybody to take my truck.
Yeah.
It just looked like a disaster because when I woke up in about 3 inches of water and my shoes were wet and I didn't bring boots and that was my own fault. And then when I get out of the back of this truck, I look over and I see your completely deflated air mattress
under the truck,
of water with duct tape on it, and then you were just zonked out with you're still wearing your glasses with the flips up, just like you are now, just leaning against, and you were just. And I was like, I can't believe he can sleep like that. I can't sleep upright to save my life.
I can only do it if I'm in a moving vehicle, like in an airplane or a car where it's moving, because the motion, like, it's not comfortable, but I can fall asleep for periods of time if it's a moving vehicle. But like trying to go to sleep like that, like, yeah.
And then that next day, I think, was one of the harder days of the whole trip. Because you guys were out in the super mega wind trying to figure out the battery issues all day. And then we drove into Wyoming super late at night and our MTV didn't have the heater. So you like went through this completely trash sleep night to like the hardest day of a pretty hard trip.
Yeah.
And just took it like a champ. No problem. The next day he just woke up and fixed the heater.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened.
Hey, at least that night we had real beds.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And Chris still chose to sleep on a couch. We were in Brady's house.
Yeah.
And shout out again to Brady for letting us all crash there. But there were so many beds available and Chris chose the couch.
Yeah. You're just built different, Chris.
Yep.
I just learned to sleep anywhere, you know.
Yeah, I guess that is an acquired skill. That's a skill that Steven has more than anyone I've ever met.
Yeah.
I've told this story 100 times, but probably never on the podcast.
I don't think so.
This was shortly before we started Grind Hard, maybe like a year or so before. We all went camping up to this place called Spine Cop, and it's just like a little look. Like there's nothing actually there. It's just a spot you can drive to that's kind of the top of a mountain and some rocks. And you can look out over the valley. It's a really pretty spot. So we all went up there, and it was me, Edwin, Steven, our friend Michael, whose van we guess we did a video on that a few years ago. Anyway, it was his van. He had his van, which is a Ford Power Stroke 4-wheel drive swap, camper van thing. And we all went up there, and there was a lot of shenanigans. There was like a ton of trees. It was early in the season. There was a ton of trees down over the road, and we like pushed, pulled, moved them out of the way, and squeezed my Subaru between all of them because somebody had cut them out for like an ATV.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point of this story is that the next day we camped out up there, and then the next day we were driving down the mountain, and it's like super windy, bumpy dirt roads, and I was even more of an idiot behind the wheel back then than I am now. And I was like intentionally just drifting, basically pretending it was a rally race the whole way down the mountain. Steven was in the back seat of my Subaru in the middle seat, bench seat, not leaned up against a window. He was just in the middle, passed out the whole time. Like I was just like slamming gears, dropping the clutch. I mean, it's an all-wheel drive Subaru with like 220 horsepower, not exactly enough to just break them loose at any given moment. So I was just like
carrying a lot of speed.
Slamming it into the corners, trying to get it sideways.
Yeah, everyone else in the car is like death gripping the doors, shaking, and Steven is just
completely asleep until we stopped because I was checking the tire pressure. I don't remember if I got a flat or if I just wanted to check. Anyway, we stopped, and then he woke up. I was like, how did you sleep through that? He's like, I don't know, man.
It's all about the motion.
I guess, but when you're like whiplashing left and right, I don't know if that's... Anyway, that's an example of... extreme example of being able to sleep anywhere.
Yeah. I'm going to get a better camping bed, too.
Yeah.
And I think that if it's raining, I'm going to set up a tent on the next trip.
A good plan. I was going to say, as far as the sleeping pad thing, I'm going to make a mental note to ask my friend Casey where he got his, because he has one that's made for camping, so it's durable. He's had it for years. And when it's inflated, it's like 4 inches thick. So it's not like full air mattress thickness, but it's enough to get you off the ground, but it's also insulated. And it's like super duper tough.
See, that's what I need.
Yeah, but it's not like you could not take it backpacking. Like it is the size of a backpack. It's huge, even when it's rolled up. But it's perfect for like car camping, or like I imagine it's probably sort of geared towards hunting type camping, where you're not like trying to go light. You have a base camp and you.
Yeah.
But it's the best one I've ever seen, because like the super lightweight ones for backpacking are about as wide as your head. And they weigh nothing, but they're also super delicate.
That's what I had on the MTV trip. I did not get a lot of hours of sleep.
I had the same thing, and it was like, it's okay, but it's not, you can roll off of it if you just like breathe too hard.
Yeah.
So you need one that's like a little bit wider. Like that's the one that Casey has is like, it's like 3 feet wide. So it's not a full twin size, but it's wide enough that you can like roll over and not
fall
off completely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we need to find one of those for Chris. Well, probably for all of us, but
yeah. What are your goals, Chris?
Well, one, rock saw.
Rock saw. Yeah. That's a good goal. Yep.
Rock saw. No, I want to spend more time up there with the rocks and the property, for sure. And I'm really into the adventures. Like the MTV adventure was just like one of the funnest things I've ever done.
Mm-hmm. That was, I agree.
And more of that.
Yep.
And that brings me back to what I was talking about originally, the company vehicle or whatever, but something that when we go do adventures like that or do a camping thing, we can take something like, for lack of a better word, adventure vehicle or an RV or whatever, something, that we could have, because it's kind of tough, throwing coolers in the back of your truck and all of our stuff being in tubs, and
they're just flopping around.
Yeah, and I want to get something out of my tub, and it's 3 tubs down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just something where everybody could have their own little space
for the stuff. Yeah,
for the stuff, and yet, have some room in the back to put, Barbie Jeep or the K truck or You know, it'd be kind of hard to put the MTV back there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
The MTV's moving anywhere. It's self-supported until one of us gets a CDL. I think.
Even then, it's going to always pretty much make sense for it to drive itself.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good goal for the year. We've never had a company truck ever. The closest we came was the limo, which lasted like 2 trips before it was like not really practical. I mean, it was never practical, but
And we were pretty limited on camp spots too.
Yeah.
Like Steven racked his brain to find, and we're in the middle of Washington, which is arguably like the easiest place to camp ever. And it was hard to find one where we could easily get in and out of with the limousine, with the trailer, with the monster truck Mini Cooper on the back.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, and that's the kind of thing that we definitely need for like what you were talking about earlier, Edwin, with like trips like where we just plan to go to an event or not go to necessarily. But
Yeah.
I mean, also for events, I mean, like for Matt's off-road games, like if we do that again this year, like last year we took my truck with the trailer full of crap and your truck. So we took 2 smallish trucks.
Yeah.
Just to get us there. And that was like a pretty, like we didn't even need that much for that trip compared to some things. So
Yeah.
like
And that was just 3 days.
yeah. And
Dave brought a bunch of stuff too.
we were staying in an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Like we weren't even camping that
Didn't even
trip.
have
So
camping gear,
like
or food or anything.
Yeah.
We just went to Walmart once we got there.
it really is a conundrum though of what to do for a vehicle. Cause like there's nothing.
It's almost like we need a couple different ones for different types.
I think that we should start with either just like something that's just like a normal vehicle. Like as the most abnormal we would get is like a Kodiak, either a Kodiak or just like a 1-ton Chevy or whatever. And just start with that. Cause that fills the most boxes in one, in that it's reliable, comfortable, gets like reasonable fuel mileage. It can tow anything we'd ever really realistically need to tow. And like you can get parts for it on the road. You can take it to any mechanic shop and they can fix it if you're like in a pinch. And then for the more like elaborate stuff, we can keep an eye out for either just the right thing, or we can build something, which I still think it would be really, really, really cool to turn the other MTV. I mean, either into a race truck or into a camper.
Well, kind of both, right?
I mean, sure. Yeah, both would be ideal. But like, talking about not doing builds that take years to complete.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But see, yeah, if you did that with the other MTV,
yeah. If we put the highway gearing in it,
you could tow anything you wanted to tow. You could have a huge trailer with who knows how much on the back.
Yep.
You know,
But turning around, you'd need a parking lot
yeah,
sized area.
And in one day, we got on the one behind us door latches and mirrors done basically in the windshield in. So it's like to do a whole race truck plus camper is like years.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I'm saying we ought to just start with the basics and just find, another thing that would actually be a really good option is an ambulance.
Yeah.
Because you can get like,
and there's so much room.
Yes. But underneath, it's basically a Kodiak. I mean, some of them are anyway. Some of them are the same cab, the Chevy C4500 cab. Yeah. Or C45 or C5500. Very few of them are 4-wheel drive. They do exist. But also 4-wheel drive is not a requirement for that particular type of company truck. It would be nice, but it's not a requirement because like if we're towing a trailer and, hauling all the crap, we're not going to be going off road. Like the 4-wheel drive would just be for going up passes in the snow, but worst case scenario, we put on chains. Like it's not, 4-wheel drive would be nice, but yeah. So I've been thinking an ambulance could be awesome because you get the tow capacity of a medium duty, like 4,500, 5,500 truck. You can get pretty low miles, well-maintained, Duramax, and a ridiculous amount of interior space. The only downside is they don't have, like, almost never do they have crew cab ambulances.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that said, you could put seats in the back very, 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 very easily. They just have to be facing sideways. So it'd be a little different.
Yeah.
But that would be like that's like one of the most affordable, sensible versions that's like a little bit of both. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Just a normal company truck.
Well, for the rocks, Chris, I don't think we need to wait very long. Because
there's no freaking snow.
Yeah, we're doing this snowplow episode, and then after that, we're planning on doing snowcat episodes, and we don't have any snow. We should just build your rock saw and go up there and mill some rock.
Yeah, right now we could still just do that.
Yeah.
There's probably like maybe a foot of snow up there right now, but that's not even enough to cover up the rocks.
Yeah, exactly. We could, just yoink it with the excavator right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's barely even been cold enough to freeze the water up there.
I know, and apparently Steven said it's going to rain again this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to warm up and start raining.
Dude, I was getting all excited. I saw snow in the forecast, and I was like, sweet, I'm going to go snow biking again this weekend. I went for the first snow bike ride of the season last weekend, and there was really good snow above 6,000 feet. Below 5,000, there was almost nothing.
And it takes some getting to get above 6,000 around here.
Yes.
Like, how far up did you drive your truck?
I mean, if you're familiar with Trestle Creek, I parked at the second switchback.
Okay.
So not all that far, but I could have easily driven it farther. That was just where it was like, okay, there's enough snow on the road
to at least ride.
Snow biking isn't going to be miserable.
I'm surprised it was that low, to be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, we're talking like 6 inches of snow. That's all there was.
Yeah.
Total. It's not like just on the road. Like that's it.
Yeah, you couldn't even go off the road.
Yeah. So you couldn't even get off the road until like 5,000 feet. And even then you were just dodging stumps left and right.
Jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
Crazy.
pretty rough. But yeah.
So maybe we should do the rock saw.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, once we get this monstrosity out of here, we can
we do
start
need to get
collecting
this out
materials
of here before we build anything else.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, while Ethan's doing that, I could work on something like over here. And then I was like, we got to wait till the truck's out of here to do
pretty much.
This is a one project at a time garage right now until this truck is out of here, but we're close.
Yeah.
So
if we rearrange this chaos over here, we could fit another project in here, but that's,
You know, there's lots of room up the other shop.
That's true.
You know, to put either of those if you want to put them up there.
Yeah, we could drive the Jeep
Actually,
up there
the
on
mini
its
Jeep.
own power. Yeah.
I have a new radiator for it in the mail because I stole its radiator for the snowcat.
Cool.
So as soon as we have that, we could slap the radiator in there and just drive it up to Chris's shop.
That's what I was thinking while
That'd
you're
be perfect,
finishing up some other stuff. Chris and I could do maybe one more video on that thing and get it to the point where it's like
a little more complete.
Yeah, like everything in one, just everything a little bit more together. Like it's really not far off. So
I mean, just a halfway decent roll bar and a few little odds and ends.
Yeah. She's Moab ready.
Yep. A sway bar, like a really tiny sway bar, just enough to keep the body upright. Because it's just such a tiny little skinny body. It just wants to lean over.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, sidetracked. Yeah. I don't know if I don't really do New Year's goals specifically. I don't know. I've always just kind of been like, well, you should just achieve your goals when you want to achieve them. Don't like wait for the beginning of the year. And so many people like make a New Year's resolution and then just like ignore it. I'm not going to do that.
They never do. Yeah.
But since we're talking about goals,
saying you're going to do it gives you a little hit. You know,
right.
So like sometimes that's enough to make you feel like me saying, "Oh, I'm going to finish music this year," gets me jazzed. You know,
right?
And then it's like I said the same thing last year and I didn't.
Exactly. That's the other reason I don't.
2 songs that were not fully finished, really, but I still put them in videos, but they never got on Spotify. You know.
That's the other reason is it's always been a pet peeve of mine when people say I'm going to do this thing, and then they just don't at all. Like, it's not like, oh, you try to do it and you didn't quite get there. That's fine. I'm talking like, oh, I am definitely doing this. And then just nothing happens. It's always annoyed me. So that's why that's the other reason I'm not like, I'm doing this year because I might not. Life happens. But as far as goals, I mean, pretty much all the things we've been talking about, like definitely a company truck. That's a good goal. Rock saw, another good goal. But yeah, personally, I don't know that I have like a whole lot to add to that aside from finish the addition of my house and maybe get the siding on it. That'd be nice. Woo! Because, in theory, there'll be a miniature Ethan or Ethanette running around here sometime in the next year. So,
baby grind hard.
Oh no. So yeah, getting the house finished.
It doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't.
Baby scent, man.
Baby scent.
Yeah.
If it's a girl, we'll just name it Cinderella.
There you go.
It's a joke, obviously, but
Just riding around Bjorn like a little saddle.
yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, as far as like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything that's outside of what we've already been talking about, really. Spending more time up at the other property would be really cool.
Yeah. I like how Chris put it.
I think
spending
those videos
time
did
with
really well.
the rocks is the way.
Spending time with the rocks, yes.
That's what Chris. That's the way he put it.
Yep.
Like, literally, that's what. Like we get up there, in like the first hour, he's just like going around, and then he comes back. He's like, "I found a good rock, Edwin." He's like, "Come look at this one."
Yep.
And it's like the hardest one to get. And I'm like, "But what about the one right by the road? That looks exactly the same to me. But what do I know about good rocks?"
I don't know.
Yeah.
I did think of one other one earlier while you guys were talking about all this. I've been wanting a Baja bug for like at least 20 years.
Yeah.
So a good goal this year is to do something with a Baja bug.
Yeah.
Which we have various ideas for that.
I got the motor.
Well,
Yeah. True.
I mean, you have a motor. I know I just said that we could all sit down and that'd be easier, but I don't. If it's going to be a stock Volkswagen motor, then it's going to be like an adventure with a Baja bug. But if we're building anything with a Baja bug, it's not going to have just a 1600cc air cooled. It's got to be something. You know, that said, a diesel Baja bug would be pretty cool. Like a 2-liter TDI, nothing crazy, just a
that'd be
just a 2-liter TDI Baja bug where you could get like 40 miles to the gallon, but also have plenty of torque for the sand.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So here's my goal. We do an adventure that involves a Baja bug, and then we keep it and turn it into something a little cooler. But it doesn't have to be full insanity. I do have a full insanity idea for a Baja bug, but we'll finish a few of our other ones before we even think about starting that. But but just like a mild, like tasteful. It's a pretty cool Baja bug already, and then we just do a few nice little upgrades and just have a fun Baja bug, and then maybe give it away. Because, like, I mean, how long are we actually going to be able to use it or like have a use for it? But
I was thinking one of these days, Chris and I could finish the roof of the limousine too. Would be cool.
Yeah, fix the roof on it and then
Go through the wiring and
sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can keep it too. I don't really care, but yeah.
Sell it, get a company truck.
Yeah.
I have an affinity for that thing, but the thing is like I can get distracted by something new and shiny really easily.
Yeah.
So
I do really enjoy the limo. I was actually just thinking about that the other day.
it's just so cool.
The,
There's nothing else like it.
Yeah, back when we were like using it a little bit more and we had it registered and stuff.
Yeah.
I did do a few things that were really fun that was like either just me or like one time we had some people over for, I don't know if it was for my birthday or something, but we were going to run to town and actually buy a Traeger because I didn't have one yet. And we were going to make ribs for dinner or something. Anyway, so we were talking about, oh, well, we have too many people and then we're going to get breakfast or whatever. And then I was like, well, we can all fit in the limo. So we just all piled in the limo, went to Home Depot, put a Traeger in the back, and then got breakfast or whatever and came home. And that was hilarious.
That's so sick. See, that's why we
So
need to,
maybe you're right. Maybe we do just need to keep it. Yeah, we just need to, yeah.
Like next time Ryan comes to visit, we just pick him up in the limo. Like that's so much more fun.
It's true. Yeah, we do just, because it's also not really worth that much to sell. So we should really just fix the issues it has, which are really just mainly the roof.
Yeah.
And then
maybe do the
headliner.
Yeah, the headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
The
redo
headliner
the
is
headliner because it's sagging
gross,
down. Yeah.
but-
But
And it'd be nice too to have a little more headroom in there, but yeah, we don't need to get too technical about the specifics of the
But yes,
podcast,
you're right.
That's
You're
like,
right. It
one
is
last
probably worth
thought
keeping it.
It'd be sweet to at least, because I was looking at it and I'm like, it's a good thing we're not getting a whole lot of snow right now, or that thing's just going to cave in, and then we're really never going to work on it. But seeing how much rust was in that windowsill,
yeah,
that's the problem. If we take off the roof, then those windows, like basically the whole thing is just gone.
well,
So I don't know.
from what I remember looking at it, the sides with all the side windows are actually, I want to say that there's like around the windows is all aluminum on the side windows. It's like this weird molded aluminum thing, I think, from my memory. And I mean, I dug into it enough to know to decide that like the roof was the only real problem, and it has all these like cross member struts under it, so it's not actually going to cave in. I mean, a small portion of it could, but it would just be like a little like square foot where it would dump snow in. But the structure is solid, so all we really have to do is peel off the rust and reskin it, and then once we do that, we just clean up as much rust as we can, and then we just put like 6 coats of bed liner over it. And that way, if it rusts again, there's enough plastic on top that it won't leak.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can never stop rust 100% once it starts. But you can cover it up with enough plastic that you won't notice for a few years.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
and I had one more goal.
okay.
One more goal that we need to think of this year, and that is we got to get this boy in a race.
Yeah.
He's got to be in a race this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I did one race last year, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Last minute, right at the end of the year, pretty much.
Yeah, it's got to be an off-road race, though. That's where you're going to shine, I think.
Exactly.
That's what I'm much more into.
No, I'm very keen on that too, Chris. But it's also very expensive to do that. So I'm more trying to see what sponsors are down to support us in.
Yeah.
Without giving away too much. But that's kind of what I've been already talking to people about. So
nice.
It's in process, Chris.
That's good.
We're working on it.
We should, racing wise, and this is like no secret or anything because it's just a racing class, we should try to do Legends racing this year because I'm pretty sure they do it at our local racetrack.
Yeah.
It's actually extremely affordable as far as racing goes, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
So that's a great one to do. There we go. Goal for the year. Do some Legends racing. Yeah. It's not off-road, but it's pretty cool. Anyway.
He was born to race.
That's how I felt.
Listen to him talking about the Subaru jamming gears and drifting corners.
Yeah.
That's that really is like, that's what was just going through my head while I was driving in the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. It's like, not in the sense of like, I'm going to win, but just like the feeling of racing in that race. It was repeating in my head. I was just like, I was born for this. Like this, not even like I was born to win or like, not that I'm even that good at it. It was just a feeling.
But my brain
for
is
the
wired
feeling. I was
to
like,
enjoy this more than anything.
And to like, to thrive in it. Like I don't have the experience to win races, but the feeling was like, it was perfect. I was just like, everything works. Like reaction times are there. Like just everything was like, it was that flow state, you know?
Nice.
Anyway, well, I could go on about racing for hours, but
yeah. Well, you have anything else, Chris?
No, that's those
2026.
Those were my goals. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about this?
Spend some more time with the rocks. You know?
We'll write down our goals, put them on the wall somewhere, and we'll hold each other accountable for these things because that's a big thing with goals is accountability.
Yep.
Well, the good news is there's like a couple million people that are going to hold me accountable with the siding on my house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But for these other things, like, you know, especially the smaller, like the bigger things are actually like kind of easier in a way. The smaller things are just too easy to push off to the side.
Yep.
But we'll hold each other accountable and remind each other of what we set out to do this year. And then right before maybe Christmas next year, whatever the podcast is before Christmas, we'll check in, make sure that we accomplished. Like maybe we'll re-listen to this podcast on the podcast.
There you go.
Talk about if we actually accomplished these things.
That's actually a cool idea.
Because if we're still like, oh, dang it, like last time we went camping, Chris was on a craft level 9,000 air mattress and didn't sleep well, then we'll know we didn't do a good job this year.
Yep. It's a good plan.
Well, we'll do that.
Call it the podcast check-in.
Okay. Wow.
Air compressor just told us it's time for this one to be over.
Well, that's the Set and Bent podcast. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for watching.